Hello, Gemini. Thank you for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Tarot Illuminati by Eric C. Dunn, Supportive Oracle Cards, Magical Spell Cards by Lucy Cavendish. Bum, ba-da-bum, bum, bum. Ooh, you got some fun energy going on already. That's fun. Well, yeah. Fun energy would be fun, wouldn't it? That's peculiar. Okay. We got good cards so far. Let's add in just to see. Oh, you have the Prince of Cups. Was it Taurus? Taurus. I think it was Taurus was the one I did. I had the Prince of Cups. Which was very peculiar in what the Prince of Cups was actually trying to do. I wasn't sure if that was really a romantic thing or just bringing something that you really want. So we'll go a little farther and see how this is going. If I'm going to be a little preemptive, I see a lot of good energy here. Your energy seems to be rolling with it best you can. I feel your energy is good. Let's get to the end, because there's something curious about how this is ending. Makes me wonder what's going on here. When you're going into this, you have a lot of passion. And it's coming in with the Six of Pentacles and the Princess of Swords. Princess of Swords kind of teeters back and forth between page and night energy for me when I read it. How I read it, just to be fair, because I know other people may not feel the same way, and that's cool. Do what you gotta do. So there's a balance here about, especially with that Six of Pentacles right next to it. There's helpful and unhelpful. There's some helpful and some unhelpful energy here, but there's also like absorbing information and putting information out there at the same time. Whatever it is you're dealing with, you're very passionate about it. There's a lot of question marks, and even though there's good and bad going back and forth, you can't really. Until you get into it and start pushing the information back and forth, you can't figure out if it's good or bad until you've pushed it back and forth. Like, you don't know what you're dealing with until you've pushed some information back and forth, and you're like, oh, well, that's not so good. Let's stop with that. Let's push. Oh, this is good. Let's keep going with that. And then you're kind of like, wait, that thing I got rid of, I thought that was bad. Maybe there's something good with that. Let's bring that back. Push it. Nope, that's crap. Let's get rid of that. Like, you might have to rethink things. There's a lot going back and forth with this. I think you're realistic with this, but just in case I am getting this thought, don't beat yourself up for information that maybe seems harmful here and there, because you don't know it's harmful until you sort it out, and somebody needs to sort it out. So it's kind of like you're not looking to make things worse. There is information being pushed back and forth. You may feel like, oh, I wish I didn't say that, or I wish I didn't do that, but you wouldn't know unless the information was pushed back and forth to know it was good or bad. I don't feel a lot of indifferent here. It's like good or bad. It seems like it's either pass or fail information. And until you push it back and forth, you're not going to know. I also feel like you're handling things different the farther you go, because you're like, well, maybe I could handle things a little better. That way if something doesn't go that well, I can find out and then be careful where I put it. You're figuring things out. That's kind of like your brain is like your biggest gift, not for nothing. At all these different angles, how could this go? How can that go? Let's think about this. Let's think about that. There's a pushing back and forth of information, though, where you're actually finding out if something's truthful or not truthful, and you keep having to delve deep to find out. But if you weren't doing this, the information wouldn't be there. You wouldn't know if it was good or bad, As you keep going forward, like, there's a lot in the environment that's questionable. There's a lot in the environment that's kind of like, what am I supposed to do with this? Is this right? Is this not right? The same energy that you're pushing back and forth, you're taking all those 7 cups, you're picking one up, dealing with it back and forth, back and forth. Let's go all the directions we can go with this cup. Good, bad, indifferent. Indifferent doesn't seem to be a thing, but it's either going into the good pile or the bad pile. Indifferent goes into the bad pile is what I'm getting. So it's like, oh nope, this is bad pile. Let's take the next cup. Good pile. Wait a minute, we got new information. First cup may not be bad. Bring it back. New information. Let's add that in. Nope, still bad cup. Put it back over in the bad pile. Like, you're doing what you can with it. there is a reluctant energy around you. A reluctant energy around you. Again, your gift is your brain, and you have to figure things out. That is, you're helpful. You are helpful. There is energy around you that will negate that out, or be like, it feels like it's coming at you in a way like they're saying you're not, but you are. You really are. Dealing with that energy, I'm trying to figure out what you're supposed to do with this. There is an opposing energy who seems to be a little bit like, you're not helpful, you're making things worse. That is not true. But the energy is strong. You might have to just work around it. At this point in the game, it maybe already have happened. This may be, when you're watching this reading, you might be like, well, that already happened anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I feel like you just kind of have to work around it. It's not true, though. You are helpful. It seems like there's like a panic feel here, like you're making this worse, you're making this. It's not true, but they might not be able. That's the thing with Gemini too. Sometimes your mind works very fast and too quickly for other people to follow, and that might be why this other energy is having a hard time. Sometimes the mind of a Gemini does go very fast, it seems, and you need another air sign to keep up with you, like either Libra, Aquarius, or another Gemini, to keep up with where your thoughts are going. Sometimes that's required, or somebody who has that type of characteristic. And if another person doesn't have that characteristic and can't do that, that's why they might think you're making things worse, because they can't keep up with how you're thinking. Keep that in mind too. Sometimes your brain goes too fast for other people. I mean, you're thinking of a lot of different things. Your brain has to go fast to be able to see all these different angles. That's just part of how it works. You know what I mean? But keep that in mind. Keep that in the forefront of your mind, that maybe you're thinking too fast for somebody else and they just can't follow or keep up. They just can't. So if you keep that in your mind, maybe that'll help you get through this part, hopefully. Because I'm getting see, the energy is really quick right there. Yeah, I think you might be too quick. I think you might be they just can't keep up. That might literally be the thing. So you might have to like really dull it down and just do the Cliff Notes version. That also might make that a lot easier with this Four of Pentacles energy, slowing it down, restricting how much you share, because they might not be able to keep up with your brain. I don't know how that sounds, but that's what I'm getting. Study with the same home protection. When I'm pulling the energy down, because I literally have to pull the energy down, it's not the most comfortable. I want to race. I do want to race. I want to get out there, I want to say, I want to think, I want to do, I want to go faster. Like right now, I want to talk a lot faster, but I'm pulling it down so I can effectively communicate. I feel like this would be one of those videos where you'd have to go into the settings and put it down to like half speed if I kept going really fast, just so my words would make sense. I feel like this is how I would be. Pulling it down, making it more succinct, being careful and thinking about who you're talking to, like, all right, I gotta restrict it, simplify it, just give these little pieces, It works a lot better. The energy gets a lot more comfortable for you, I do want to say. Do you like that? I'm not liking it right now. Forcing myself to pull it down and be more coherent is how I feel what I'm doing. I don't like it. It's uncomfortable, but I'm also getting these two cards for you. The Four of Cups. Is that the four? Yep, Four of Cups with the Eight of Pentacles. It takes some effort on your part to do that. You're doing a lot of good with it. It's just not the way you'd like to do it, but at this point, you got to do that. This is how things are effective. Also, it takes a certain type of stress off of you, even though it adds this other type of stress in. But it's kind of like it takes the volatile stress out, and it puts more of a restrictive stress in. So, when you do this, though, I'm getting some good energy happens in the environment, all right? Because you're making an effort. It's obvious that you're taking this extra step to slow it down, to do it a different way so that it's not disruptive to whoever you're dealing with, because your brain goes too fast, they can't follow. I'm sorry. I don't have to say. Like, that's what I'm getting. Like, you're going too fast, they can't keep up. It makes them upset. When you pull it back, they like that a lot. Success happens in the environment. The 10 of Cups is telling me people are feeling so much better. They're starting to really absorb what you're saying, and they're feeling better with what you're saying. Like, you have a lot of good information. They need it. Makes them feel better. When you dull it down, I don't know how that sounds, so I hope it doesn't sound insulting to anybody. When you dull it down, it makes sense. It goes slower. People can grasp onto it. Oh, I get it. I see. I understand. Oh, you do have a point. Oh, that does make sense. New beginnings is a little cockeyed, but it's also coming in with imagination. It's making people feel, whoever you're dealing with, it's making people feel like there's good possibilities here and things can go a lot better. And I started tripping on my tongue again because I had the need to rush again. I wanted to rush. But then I realized quickly, if I start doing that, it's going to go off the rails. And you might have that moment where you're like, oh, okay, wait, no, I got to hold it together. I want to just rush forward and just blah, 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 but I can't. Can't do it. We're good. There is stress between you and this situation, whatever you're dealing with the 10 of Wands. But the way you're handling it, the 10 of Wands to me talks about great stress, but success through that stress. You know what I mean? Like, the 10 of Swords is like, that's stress with a bad ending. The 10 of Wands is similar stress, but except it goes to a successful place. So between the two, they're both very hard, but this one at least has a good payoff. You know, it is stressful here. Now, this is going to go forward to a next phase. The next phase, I feel like I'm waiting for it to happen. I'm just kind of like, okay, when are we going to do this? When are we going to do this? Twiddling my thumbs here. Fertility comes in with glamour. Something good is coming towards you, but the glamour makes me feel like there's a weight, and or there's just this people trying to be happy with something that it's kind of like, well, that's the best we're going to get, so I guess that we're going to have to be happy with that. But it is good, though. Fertility is telling me this is really good, but people seem to be like, either there's a waiting period, and or it's kind of like, well, I guess that's the best we're going to get, so I guess I have to be happy with that. But it is really good. When this comes forward in the environment, you seem to see it for the truth of it. Like, no, that is good. No, that's really good. Other people don't seem to be as impressed as you are, but the way you're viewing it, you're like, no, this is good. Maybe it's not exactly how you want it to happen. Maybe it's not the genie in the bottle twiggling their nose. Twiggling? Is that even a word? Wiggling their nose. And instantly everything is solved, but you're like, no, that's exactly what we need. You're like, no, that's good. Victory. You're seeing the victory here. Now, I think this is very ironic. Gemini being air, you like to get things done. You like when the possibility's there, you just want to move on it. I just don't think of Gemini as normally the most patient energy. You can tell me if you think I'm wrong. Just let me know in the comments, because I'd love to learn more about how Gemini. If you're a Gemini and you're like, no, we can be patient, let me know. Let me know below. But what I'm getting from this situation is divine guidance with the Ace of Pentacles. You see how this is going to play out and the steps that are going to happen. And maybe you can be patient within reason, in the sense of like, I can be patient because, you know, this far down the road, this is going to happen. And this far down the road, this is going to happen. On the way to the end goal, there's going to be a lot of check marks I'm going to be looking for. So I'm going to get excited every time a check mark is hit. So maybe you can be patient with that. Maybe that's what I'm missing with this. Because it's coming forward, and the farther it goes, the better it feels. And you're seeing it. You're like, oh yeah, no, they said this was going to happen. And I see the proof, because these things are going to happen as we get closer to this end goal. And I'm seeing those fall into place. So this is good. You're also noticing I'm starting to talk fast again. Okay. We got to remember to slow it down. Like, I feel like I have to remember to slow it down. But like, remember that going past this point, if you start letting loose of the restraint, people are just going to look at you and their eyes are going to roll in their head. Like, I don't understand what you're talking about. I don't understand the language you're using. Like, they can't follow. Just remember that. Your brain works too fast. They can't keep up. Remember that. Because you're going to have information you want to give, but if they can't catch it, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? If they can't catch it, they're like trying to catch it. You're going to have to slow it down, dull it down if you want that information to come forth and to like be applied to the situation. Your brain works great. Other people being able to follow this is the challenge. I feel like that's the challenge. Okay, so there's this curious energy here. Okay. Harmony comes in, things go a lot better. Now I'm going to show you a couple cards here. It's not bad, but you might see one card and be like, ooh, that looks rough. I don't think it is. Things work out better. Harmony's coming in. So these, I'm going to hide the one card here first. Emperor, Four of Wands, Knight of Cups, and then this card here is not really bad, but you're going to think it is. It's the Devil card, right? The Devil card, what I'm getting with this, and I got this in Taurus too, ironically, it feels very Capricorn-like. When this is not a bad card, I feel that Capricorn energy where Capricorn comes in and says, this is how it is. I'm informing you where I stand and what I'm doing. This is not a negotiation. That's when I feel that Capricorn energy come through this card, where I personally don't think it's bad. I just feel like it's basically saying, we're not negotiating. I'm telling you what it is and what's going to happen, and that's what's going to happen. If you buck against this energy, you're getting the Devil. You're getting that energy. Like, oh no, we're not negotiating, and if you try to push me off my mark, you're going to get a world of hurt because I'm not about it. That's the gift of this card. That's the gift of Capricorn explaining this to us. Saying, listen, I'm telling you it's not a negotiation. This is what's going to happen, and this is what we're going to do. I don't think it's bad. I personally don't. If you can get online with the Capricorn energy saying, hey, it's just letting you know what's happening. Don't get in my way. That's kind of what that is. We all have that energy, but, you know, once in a while we have that energy at different levels. Capricorn's not about negotiating when they're in that mode. When they're in the success mode, like this is what needs to happen, you got to get out of their way. This is resulting in this energy. The Emperor with the Four of Wands. Four of Wands is stability. It can be a marriage card, yeah, but I don't feel that here. Stability, Emperor saying things are being regulated and happening. You're playing a part in that. The Emperor is tipping up onto your side. You understand what's happening and why. This is again where you want to slow down how you explain things, because if you can explain it to other people and slow it down, you can relieve a lot of stress here. People are afraid of the Devil, not for nothing. Like normally when people, if you had the Devil in your face, that would be a fear moment. Not for nothing. You're able to take that energy down a bit, slow it down, explain how you understand it. It makes sense to you. You got the Emperor card. You understand what's happening here. You can help people get control of this. You can turn that Devil energy into the Knight of Cups. It's like you're converting it, saying, no, this actually isn't bad. I know you feel like it's bad and you're afraid and you're feeling controlled. This is why it's good. And you can take that information, hash it through, see it on all the different angles and be like, this is why it's happening this way. This is how this is a good thing. You can be that interpreter. Are we cool? That seemed to like hit the point where that's what they wanted to say. So I think we're good. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.